Now we're just continuing our chat here on the open day at Glin Castle, and the group of people here just behind us are now preparing for a wonderful tour of the wall gardens and the castle gardens by well-known gardener Tom Wall. Tom, great to have you with us here today.
Yes, delighted to be here today and to be showing everybody about.
Now, the one thing is about Tom Wall, folks, is there's a street in Glin named after him called Wall Street. Why is that?
Not likely.
Why is that? I hope there's none of the revenue listening.
No, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, he says with such a cool smile.
Yes.
Anyway, I won't get you into trouble. Tom, though, just looking at the fantastic gardens here and the upkeep, of course, the past or the late night of Glin, this was one of his great fortes, was the castle gardens.
Yes, indeed. The gardens as we see them here today at Glin Castle were laid out by the late knight's mother, Veronica Milliner. And when she married in here at 18 years of age, what you had here was woodland sweeping right down to the castle. And she cleared the entire site here and laid out all the gardens as you see them today. These great walks, the paths, these yew hedges. She also introduced huge collection of plants here. Very large collections of rhododendrons, azaleas, camellias, all different varieties of hydrangeas which you can see here today and which we'll take a walk around and look. Different varieties and colours that you won't see anywhere else. And she also introduced a huge collection of plants which are thriving still here to the day. And also she had this wonderful kitchen garden which we can also see later and look. It's one of the few kitchen gardens left in Ireland that is still intact, with all the fruit trees still in there and still kept. And it was always the great last knight's ambition that the castle would somehow or other survive, and he was very instrumental in having the castle completed. At the top of the building wasn't completed until he took it over. Till about 20 years ago, he completed the top wing of the castle and the wings off it. So the castle then was turned into a magnificent hotel where we had all these famous people coming to. And this worked very well up to 2008 when the Great Recession came in here and everybody cancelled and the whole place had to close down very quickly, and we went into an enormous recession here as the entire country did at the time. And since then it is just maintained and kept, and it inherited until the knight's death 5 years ago, and was left to Madame Alda Fitzgerald, the late knight's wife. And she is now 74 years of age. And the costs and upkeep of the castle and the gardens and so on is just far too much for the family to continue with. So it was decided about 2 years ago to put the entire property for sale. And what we're hoping for is that somebody will come along and will take over the entire property and keep it. And keep the entire gardens and the great collections of plants that have been here over the generations, and that somehow or other that Glin Castle can survive and go on for future generations to enjoy. And I think that's everybody's wish here at the moment. While it'll be quite sad to see the Fitzgeralds leave, I think the main thing is that everyone must focus on the castle itself and the gardens, that they are kept and maintained. And that's where we stand at the moment.
Now, is it true, and I know the people have come from the castle so they're not worried now, but is it true that there is hauntings in the castle? I've heard it.
Yes, the castle has had numerous hauntings, and it has been well recorded that on the top landings there has been rare sightings with doors and banging at night, taps running and that. But they have attributed it, there's been several accidents in the castle and people killed over the years. In the 1840s, under the restoration, when they were restoring the castle, one of the Dublin painters that was painting in the back hall fell from the scaffolding and was killed there. And there's been quite a numerous problems. The late knight, when he was young, at about 12 years of age, was in the library with his mother. And when he left the library, he came onto the staircase at the back and saw a rope hanging from the staircase and rushed back to tell his mother. But when his mother came onto the staircase, the rope was gone. And since then, even people that have worked here for generations have reported that has been on the top floor of the castle, that rare activities at night with doors banging, lights flicking on and off, taps running and bats running and so on. So it has been quite a terrifying experience for a lot of people staying here. But it has been recorded and it's very much part of the castle history.
Very good. That's a good tourism connection, though, isn't it? That would bring a lot of tours in.
Yes. Well, yes, definitely. But I've been here and I don't take any notice of ghosts or hauntings or anything. And I've lived in the castle. The only experience I've had is that one night while I was on my own maintaining the castle, staying in the building, an enormous racket set up on the second floor. And when I went up to investigate what was going on and switched on the light, I found that our dog Muggy had got wound up in one of the curtains. And I had a terrible job in unravelling him, and that was causing all the noise and all the upset. So I was very glad to see I didn't experience any ghosts up there at that point.
Now, just before you go on this fantastic tour, and folks, this man is an absolute genius when it comes to storytelling and knowing everything about gardens. But here's a young man of another generation. What's your name?
Padraig.
And Padraig, do you like what you've seen in the castle today?
Yeah.
Great. Where are you from?
My van.
My van. Oh, sure, you're only down the road. Good lad. And you, madam?
Yes.
Where are you from?
My van as well.
My van. Right. Is this a fix? Are you connected?
We come in great numbers. No,
All right.
no, we're not.
All right, okay. Are you enjoying the tour?
Absolutely, it's fabulous.
Yeah, isn't it? The castle there is magnificent.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's beautiful to see it.
Isn't it
Yeah, because
fantastic?
we've driven past it so many times.
I know,
but
sure. Look,
yeah.
I mean, when
Yeah.
you come here on a day like today,
Yeah.
it's a treasure trove.
It is beautiful.
Enjoy your day. How are you, sir?
Very good, thank you.
Where are you from?
Adair.
Adair.
Yeah.
I know you to see.
You do?
That's all I can say. I don't know names. Names with me are no use anyway.
Yeah.
You enjoying today?
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, yeah. We should have more of these.
I agree. But in Adair, like when you have the magnificent manor, Dunraven Arms, the history in Adair. But Tom, you might help me on this. Which one of the Knights' relations were born in Adair Manor?
The knight's great-grandmother was Lady Rachel Fitzgerald. She came from Adair, and she brought a small fortune to Glin. Unfortunately, the Fitzgeralds always maintained that she didn't bring enough, that the Dunravens could have done far more for Glin, as these wouldn't have been as wealthy, as the Dunravens were an enormous wealthy family at that point in time. But she did succeed in bringing one of the great lanterns from the library and had it installed in the hall here. And you can see that still here. It's hanging in the hall still to this day. And she was the person, if you like, that started the gardens, because it was her that planted the big hill here at the back of the castle with daffodils. She went to Sicily at the time, and she brought thousands of daffodil bulbs, all different varieties, and planted the whole hill here at the back you see today. And she also interplanted it with bluebells, that once the daffodils have finished flowering towards the end of May, the entire hill is covered then with bluebells. So she was one of the very few good gardeners. The rest of the ladies that came here, I'm afraid, were not good gardeners. Now, the knights themselves were not good managers of managing a estate. They spent all their time entertaining, wining and dining, and it meant selling off portions of the estate all the time to subsidise their way of living. And they sold off, they had up to 1,500 acres with here, and we finished up here today with just 380 acres. So over the years, it never could generate enough money to generate itself. It was a very unprofitable estate, and always required marriages, intermarriages, wealthy people to come in and bring money in to keep the place going.
Well, I could do with just 2 acres. Seriously, I could live in that. But thanks again and enjoy your day.
Yeah.
And madam, how are you?
Great, thank
You
you.
enjoying it today?
Very, very much. It's most interesting, and you make the garden sound so dying to see.
I know.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I mowed my own lawn yesterday. Nearly broke my back. Can you imagine what these people have to do?
I know. But he probably sits up on top of a mower.
Yes, yeah.
Not the same thing.
No,
No,
it's not the
definitely
same
not.
thing.
Not the
Enjoy your day.
Thank
How are you folks? You enjoying your day?
Are you lovely,
nice, yeah.
lovely.
Great. Where are you from?
Kilcolman, just down.
Oh yeah, just down the road.
Down the road,
Another
yeah.
place of great history actually is
Yes,
Kilcolman.
yeah, it's a nice spot,
yeah.
yeah. Nice and quiet.
Is that where Dromore Castle is, or near there? Is it?
That's Kilcornan you're thinking of,
Kilcornan,
yeah.
Kilcornan.
Kilcornan
Between
is-
Ard and
Oh,
Shanagorgan.
sorry, it's up the other way.
Yeah.
Pardon
Between
me.
Ard and
Yes,
Shanagorgan.
yeah.
We live near the famous Ard Chalice where it was found many,
Correct.
many years.
Yes,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
I can tell. Well, enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Right, indeed, lovely. So that's it. Well, that's it. My young lady, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Enjoying the
myself
day.
Very much so, yeah.
Great.
Very much so.
And the tour of the castle, what do you think of it?
I
Is it your
thought
first time
it's
here, is it?
beautiful. I was here as a child a long time ago, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I grew up in Glin.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Yes,
What's
yeah.
your own name?
My name is Nolan, Francis Nolan.
Francis
yeah.
Nolan. Great. Okay. Well, great to see you today, and enjoy yourself. All right. Thanks. Okay, that's it. And rounding it up here, and we'll talk to you again shortly.